Welcome to GATE video. I'm Revathi from Department of Computer Science Engineering, SA Engineering College. So today we are going to discuss about functions in C. What are the importance of functions, how we are using functions, and some useful problems in GATE which are asked in the GATE, previous year GATE question. What are the concepts which is covered in the function? That let's get into the video. So we are going to see functions in C. First, what is the importance of functions? What is meant by function, and why we are starting into the topic? First, let me say why we need to go for this topic. That is why we need a functions in C. See, function is actually a name of block of code that performs a specific task. See, all the code we are writing to perform certain task only. But why specifically a function means? Because reusability of code. We can use again and again the same piece of code for performing a piece of task, to execute a block of statements and optionally return a result. A function allows you to write a piece of logic once and reuse it wherever needed in the program. See, suppose for example, the basic example is addition of two numbers. If we add two numbers, what we will do? So we will give the input of A and B, and we will consolidate that result and store it in somewhere, that is C. See, for example, I'll show you with the example. So this is the syntax of function. So if you are writing a piece of code for adding two numbers, we can, if you want to again subtract, we have to write the same code again. If you want to multiply two numbers, if we want to write the same code again and again. Instead, we can use the concept called function, and we can reuse that code wherever it is required. Let's see how it is working. First, see what is the syntax of function. So we have to use the keyword, then return type of the function name, parameter list, and function body. So here you have to use the keyword called a function, and function name of the function. You can give any name. See, we are using a user defined function. So there are two types of function: predefined function and user defined function. Predefined function, as you know, printf, scanf, those are all predefined function. Whatever we are seeing is a user defined function. So you can define your own name, that is a function name. Keyword is a function. So function name, then parameter. Parameter is what we want to pass the value to get the input. So that is what parameter. So this is overall syntax of the function. I'll tell you with example. So you'll get into more clear. So this is a body of the function. Whatever logic you want to write, whether you want to add two number or subtract two number or multiply two number, whatever logic you want to perform, that piece of code should be with closed with the parenthesis. You know, this is a flower bracket, or we can say curly braces. So within curly braces, you have to write the logic. So here, this is the syntax. So you have to write a function, keyword, then function name, that you can give whatever name you want, and you have to pass the parameters. So inside you have to write the body of the function. Fine. So finally, if a function you want to return something, you have to give return function. Or it is not compulsory you have to return for each and every function. Sometimes we cannot return anything also. Simply also we can close the parenthesis. So first, return type specifies the type of value the function. Suppose we are writing the function using int. Void, if you are writing the function using void, you don't want to return anything. So if you are writing a function starting with int, then you have to return something. That is some integer value, you have to return it. So that is what return type. Whether it is a void or integer or something, you have to return. What it specifies the type of the value that the function will return. What type of value it has to return. Suppose if it is an integer, it has to return some integer value, right? So alright, then function name. Function name is unique name you can give, like apart from the keyword, you can give any name, which is since it is an user defined, you can give any name. So apart from the keyword, you can give any name since it is a user defined function. Next, parameter list. So parameter is nothing but a set of input values passed to the functions. What are the inputs you want to pass it, that we will call as a parameter list. Then function body. As I told already, the logic should be written within the curly braces. That is what you want to execute, what you want to run. That piece of code will be written in the curly braces. Fine. So this is an example. If you see this one, see, this is the function definition and this is calling of function. So as of now, you just see what is function, how it is written. I'll tell you what are the parts of function. There are three parts of function mainly. One is function definition, then function declaration, then function calling. Okay. So function definition is nothing but what you are going to define inside the function, that you have to write elaborately inside the function definition. For example, I want to square two numbers. So what is the logic? X square or a square, something you want to square some number. That is the logic. So that definition you have to write in a function definition. Int square, int of, I'm passing parameter as an x. Inside return x into x. That is, while returning I want to square that number. And here this is my main function. So when you are compiling a program, where that is where that cursor will go first, obviously it will go to the main function, right? The function will go first inside the main function. What is the first line of main function? Int result is equal to square of 5. So you have to call the function here square. So print square of the function, that is 5 is equal to result. So I want to print the result here. So here I want to call the function. How I can call the function? By calling simply the square of 5. So here, so this line is called as calling the function. So this line is known as calling the function. This is known as definition of function. So I told three parts, right? Calling the function, then definition of the function, then declaration. So declaration is not compulsory, since we have called the function and we have defined. Before calling the function, we have defined the function. So it's not mandatory. We can also say the prototype of the function or function declaration. It's not mandatory, but it's a good practice. You have to write a declaration for each and every function. See how, if we are using x means, how we will define how we will declare that variable x, int x, right? So we will obviously declare before using that variable. The same way, before using the function, you have to declare the variable, declare that function also. That is otherwise known as function prototype. Fine. So there are three parts I told: function definition, then function calling, function declaration. Here function declaration is not mentioned. It's not compulsory also, but it's a good practice. You have to write function declaration also. Fine. So inside the main function, I'm calling the function. So now the direction will go here. Int result equal to square of 5. What does it mean? It will go here. It will call that function. Inside that, return x into x. So x value I have passing here as a 5. So 5 into 5, the output will be 25. It will be written. What I'm printing here, square of 5 is %d result. You know why I'm using %d here? Because I'm using integer value. For integer value, we will be using %d, right? That is access specifier, we have to use %d. So %d is for int square, because we are using an integer function. So comma result. So the result will be printed here. Int result is equal to square of 5, that is 25. So the 25 will be output is printed here. So what are the parts of function? As I told already, function declaration, function definition, function call. When we will use the function declaration, it is otherwise known as, I told, function prototype. It tells the compiler about function name, return type and parameters. So what I am going to see before, for example, in a variable, if in a C program, if you are using some variable, before using that variable, what you will do, what type of variable it is, that is we will use int x, that is the variable x is an integer type. Int a, the variable a is an integer type, or float b, the variable b is a floating type. So like that we will say what type of data it is and how much bytes it need, that and all we will define it, declare it before itself, before using that variable. The same way, before using the function, you have to say what, you have to tell to the compiler that what is the function name, what is the return type and what are the parameters. That is function declaration. Function definition is what actually that code you want to execute, whether you want to square the number or you want to sum add two number or you want to subtract two number. What is the logic you want to execute? What is the task you want to perform? That task has to be written in function definition. And what is function call? You have to call that piece of code wherever it is required. You don't want to write again and again same code for addition, subtraction, multiplication. Just you can call that function name itself and you can pass the parameters. So that's why we are specifically using function in C, because reusability of code. You don't want to reuse, means you don't want to write again the same piece of code wherever it is required. You can just call the function, that is enough, right? So these are the three parts of function. So function declaration. So for function declaration, example is given. So I told already, data type you have to give, name of the function you have to give, and parameters. So here data type is integer, name of the function is add, and the passing parameters are int a comma b. See, I am passing two parameters because I want to add two numbers. So I need two variables. So I am passing two parameters here. And the two parameters of what type of parameters? It is an integer parameter. It means that it contains only the integer values. It will accept only the integer value. So the declaration tells the compiler about function name, return type, and parameter before it is actually used. So before using that function, it will tell to the compiler, I am going to use this particular function of the type integer, and the name of the function is addition, and it contains two values, that is two parameters. That is the thing it will tell to the compiler. Okay, it does not contain the function body. So function declaration contains nothing will be there, means it is a single line of declaration and it has to end with a semicolon. It does not contain any body. This is what function declaration. This is about the function declaration. So generally in a program, it is a usual practice, you have to write top of the program, in the function declaration will be written in the top of the program. As usually we will write how for other variables and all, int a, int b, like that you will start declaring the program variables, then only you will start writing the logic part, right? The same way in function also you have to declare in the top of the program. Next is function definition. So I told what logic you want to perform, that will be elaborately written in the function definition. Definition provides the actual implementation of the function. Actually what logic you want to perform, whether you want to perform a multiplication, addition, subtraction, or anything, square of, you want to find a prime numbers, or you want to, whatever logic you want to perform, that will be written inside the function definition. That is, you have to define the function, what you want to do it. Okay, so it includes the full code or logic that runs inside the function. So here it includes in function declaration, it will ends with a semicolon. It is a single line of code and it does not contain body. That thing you have to note it down. Here it contains a body because you have to write all the logic inside the curly braces, and in the starting you should not put a semicolon because you are defining the function from initially inside the curly braces, and at the end you can keep the semicolon. So next one is function call. Function call is nothing but you are simply calling that function. What is the name of the function we have given here? We have given add, right? So wherever you want to perform that addition operation, by simply call that function giving the name. Once the function is defined, you can use it simply calling its name followed by parenthesis. Simply you can call that by using the parenthesis, add of function. This tells the program to execute the code inside that function. So you, in one line of code itself, so you don't want to write entire logic, you just call that function name itself, add of, that's all. Wherever it is required, you can add, you can perform that addition how many times you want to do it in your program. So that is the advantage also. See, this is an example. So I am writing a function definition here. Int add int a comma b. See, I am doing addition of two numbers, right? That's what we have seen. And return a plus b. I want to add two numbers and I want to return the addition of that value. Fine. So this is my main method. Whenever we are compiling the function, the compiler will first go to the main function. So in main function, what I am doing, int result equal to add of 5 comma. See here, I am calling in this line is called as calling the function. That means I am simply calling the name of the function. What is the name of the function? Add, right? So here int result equal to add of 5 comma 3. So here this 5 comma 3 is nothing but an passing the parameters. I am passing the values, arguments I am passing 5 comma 3. That means what? For value of a, the variable a value is 5, and for a variable b the value is 3. I want to add those two numbers and I want to print the result. Okay, so I am simply passing the arguments. Int result equal to add of 5 comma 3, print sum is percentage d result. So here I told already why you are using the access specifier percentage d, since we are using int. So if we are using integer, then obviously you have to give percentage d. If you are using character, percentage c. So you have studied that in access specifier, right? So here we are using integer, so here it is percentage d comma result. The result will be printed here and you have to return. So this is our main method. Suppose I want to call one more time the same function, then I can write one time also add 8 comma 3, and after that hello I am printing. Again I want to execute this code, so I can give add 9 comma 5. So like that, how many times I want to execute this piece of code, I can do it without rewriting the same code. Just simply one line I can call that function. So these are the types of function. One is library function and user defined function. So that is predefined function. As you know, this printf, scanf, square root all will come under predefined function. That will be included in your header file of the program, like hash include stdio.h. So here why we are using stdio.h in your C program? Standard input output dot header. That means what? If you want to use the input output in your function, like your printf and scanf, this library file has to be added. This header file has to be added in the program so that you can get the you can use the printf and scanf. So these are all predefined function. You just add this in library file and you can use your printf, scanf, square root, then header file, whatever you want to, math.h. So whatever you want to use, that predefined function will be used there. And whatever we are discussing is an user defined function, because you are defining your own function for the reusability of code. So user defined function is you will create your own function and you will give your own name and you will write the logic whatever you want to write it. Okay, so that's what we have seen, that three parts of functions, everything. So user defined function, it doesn't have any arguments or no return value, nothing will be there. Simply we will add that library function and you can use that predefined function, and that is predefined function, or we can say already used library functions. And user defined function is it has no arguments, no return value. There are 4 types of functions are there in user defined function, whatever we have discussed, right? So we can use with arguments and without arguments. So in that way there are 4 categories are there, that is no arguments, no return value. In our function it's not mandatory you have to write all the time it should return value or it should pass parameters. We can also write without arguments and without return value also, and with arguments no return value, no arguments return value, arguments and return value. So in the 4 ways we can write our user defined function. So it's not mandatory all the time you have to write the function with return value and without return value. It's not mandatory, depends upon the user requirement. We can write our own functions. So there are 4 types. We can see some examples so that you can understand. So the function with no argument and no return value. So as we have discussed already, we have seen that addition of 2 numbers, right? In that we have passed 2 parameters. Now we can also write the program without passing any parameters and without any return value also. We can write our own function. That is one type. And in the second method, we won't won't pass any arguments while defining, declaring or calling the function, and we can we won't pass any arguments, but we will return some value at the end of the function. Suppose we are writing integer int sum of, that means you have to return something, right? You have to return the function with some integer value. So in that time, if you are not passing any parameter also, you have to return something. So that is the second type, that is with no arguments with the return value. So we'll see one example so that you can understand. So here what I am doing is, my function name is my function. So I have written there void. Void, what does it mean? Void means it will return nothing. Okay. So if you are writing here, see the main function, I have written int. What does it mean? It has to return some integer value. That is the difference. See, if I am returning void function name, then that particular function will return nothing. If I am writing int, then it has to return some integer value. That is the difference. So I am writing my function, and my function name is my function. I am passing the parameter as a character array. You know the square bracket is an array. So I am passing the character array, and the variable name is name. So I want to print hello name. That is my target. So I want to print hello name. I am passing this a variable as a character array. So here this is my main method. So how I am calling that function? See, simply one line, my function, by giving the function name my function, and I am passing some arguments. See, whenever the parameter is passed to the function, it is called as an argument. When a parameter is passed to the function. So this here, so from an example, the above name is a parameter. Here name is a parameter. Whenever we are passing here, name is a parameter, whereas this value we are passing, no, that we will call as an arguments. So here it is called as an parameter, here it is called as an arguments. Fine? Can you understand? See, name is a variable name, that we will call as an parameter. Okay, where the value for that parameter, whatever you are giving, like Liam, Jenny and Anja, so these are called as an arguments. Whenever we are passing the value for that parameter, that is named as an arguments. So first time I am calling my function Liam, again I am calling. So the function will go here. So print hello Liam. Again I am calling the function. So my function Jenny. So hello Jenny. Again the function will go here. My function Anja. Hello Anja. What will be the output again? So again it will come to here. The cursor will come here, return 0, it will come out of the loop. So what will be the output here? So my function means hello Liam, hello Jenny, hello Anja. So 3 times it will print. So I am not writing the function code here 3 times. Simply I am calling the function 3 times by giving the name alone. Fine. And how I am passing the parameters here? By using the variable character array. So this is my example 2. So here I am passing multiple arguments. There we have passed only one character, that is character array name, and we are passing the arguments like 3 names. Here I am calling 2 parameters, that is multiple parameters. How we can pass it? Simply by giving name comma age. There I have used only name. Here I am using name comma age. That is how we can pass the multiple parameters. The same way, like Liam comma 3, Jenny comma 40, and Anja comma 30. That is whatever you are passing, how many arguments also you can able to pass inside the function. Okay, so here you can pass the parameters with the data type. See, name is a character array, so I have given char name of array, and age is an integer, so I am passing here int age. So whatever data type you want to pass, or whatever how many characters, how many arguments you want to pass, you can pass it. So the parameters are written here, and while calling you have to pass the arguments like Liam comma 3, Jenny comma 14, Anja comma 30. Okay, so here I can add some other also, character name, age, then class, something I want to keep on add in this. How many parameters also you want to add it inside the function, you can add it and pass the arguments here. So the output for this one is, first time whenever calling my function Liam comma 3, you are 3 years old, you are 14 years old, you are 30 years old. Because here I am given print statement as hello percentages, you are percentage years, old slash in, name comma age. So I told already percentage S and percentage D is nothing but percentage S is what is here. Since we are using a character array, so you have to use a string. That's why I have given percentage S. And age is an integer. So we have given percentage D. Fine. And this is one more example. So the same way here what I am passing is, I need to calculate the sum of two things with the different arguments, not with a single arguments. So first time I want to sum with 5 comma 3, second time I want to sum with 8 comma 2, and third time I want to sum 15 comma 15. So different arguments also we can pass it by simply giving the values here. Fine. The same way how we have done here. Here we are passing since it is an integer, we are not given any double quotes or single quotes, simply we can pass it. Here, but you see here, it is a character array, so you have to quote with the double quotes. Fine. So far we have seen the function with argument and without arguments. Now we'll see some gate related questions. So if you see the question, it will be very simple, but it will be very tricky. If you listen carefully, it will be very tricky because most related answers that will be given in the answer. So you have to calculate it very carefully. So but it's very simple question, but the thing is you have to do it with a much concentration. That's it. See, I have written a function named jumble. Okay, and passing two parameters. What are the parameters? Int x comma int y. Both are integer type parameters. And what is my task? So it is asked in GATE 2019. See, what is my task? I want to calculate the x value. X equal to 2 into x plus y. This is my task, and I want to return the x value. So this is the logic I have written in the function. Now, whenever we are compiling, first the function will, the compiler will go where? The main method. Fine. So here is a main method. Int x equal to 2 and y is equal to 5. So whenever it is storing in the main memory, the value of x is 2 and value of y is 5. Y is equal to jumble y comma x. What is this line? This line is nothing but a function calling. So the function will go here. The cursor will go here. What is inside the function? Int jumble int x comma y. X equal to 2 star x plus y. That means what? So x value is here. Simply we will think x equal to 2, y is equal to 5 means simply it will go x equal to y and y is equal to 5. No, that is not possible, because here if you listen carefully, jumble y comma x. So y value will go to the x and x value go to the y. So if you y value, what is there? 5. So here 5 will be stored in x and 2 will be stored in y. So 2 star 5, that is 10 plus 2, x equal to 12. Now the value of x is 12. Okay. So again the value of x is 12. Now the 12 will be stored where? In this y. Y is equal to 12. So I think this line you are clear, right? So y is equal to 12 will be stored here. Again the function will go here. X equal to jumble. The see, whenever we are calling the function, again it will come back to here only. The cursor will come back to here only. So next line is x equal to jumble of y comma x. Now again the function will be called y comma x. Already we know y is equal to 12. So 12 will be stored there. 12 comma x is 2. So again 12 into 2, that is 24, plus 2, that is 26. So x value is now 26. So in the second line, where it will go again come back to this line. So x equal to 26 will be stored here. So 26 will be stored here. What is the printf statement? Percentage d slash n comma x. So I want to print the value of x. Now what is the value of x? Yes, it is 26. I think now you are clear. So the thing is, you have to concentrate here only. You are simply, you should not pass x equal to 2 and y is equal to 5, because we are passing jumble of y comma x. So the x value will be stored in y, and y value is stored in x. That is the thing you have to concentrate here. Now what is the output of this program? The value of x is 26. Fine. So the options given are 26, 15, 12 and error. So option A is correct, 26. So like this you will be having tricky questions. You have to concentrate, simple questions only they will ask in GATE. Only thing you have to concentrate more on while passing the values, what variable it is used and how it is used, what value it is stored. Okay. So we'll continue in the next video. Thank you.